Yo, welcome back to the No Hedging Podcast, and we are back with another episode. This is the first episode of the 2024 season. Week 1 is done. I am your host, Ty the Jet. I'm with my co-host,
Rip 16 the GOAT, man.
and we're here to talk about the takeaways from Week 1, all right? But
First
before we jump
takeaways
into that,
episode.
make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel.
For sure.
We love to hear your thoughts, your feedback as far as these games go. I know you crazy fans, fanatics out there, you got some opinions, so you can let it out on the comments section below.
Also, make sure y'all tap into them links, man. I added some links into these descriptions. We talked about props made easy. Had a couple good props come off of that over the weekend. So y'all make sure y'all tap in. Also on Instagram, on socials, I've been posting a couple of my prop parlays in the story. Don't pick 15 teams and then be like, oh, it's not working. There's too many fucking teams. If you're doing props, you need to stick to like 3-4 is my sweet spot. Some people even run 2, and I'm not mad at them. Small gains are gains.
That's it.
So you can run it like that, but make sure y'all tap in with props made easy. I'm gonna make sure that link is in the description for y'all. But proceed, my brother.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's go ahead and kick it off with one of my top takeaways from Week 1. And we're going to kick it off with the Thursday night game, the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that was probably one of the most anticipated games of the season to get started. And the NFL knew that as well, so that's why they put it first on the schedule.
For sure.
So this game, Chiefs defeated the Ravens 27-20 in a pretty nail biter, to say the least.
It was going
A
out.
toenail biter, to say the least.
Ew.
In this game, Lamar Jackson, he pretty much tried to will his way and his team to victory in this game, but unfortunately, there was no match for the newly found Chiefs with an offense. You got a lot of wide receivers on the team now, in which they didn't have last year. And
Xavier Worthy came out the gates.
he's
Good.
worthy.
He's worthy.
He's worthy. He's worthy.
For a long time, they've been trying to replace that Tariq Hill speed that they lost since he went to Miami, and they might have found it.
They might have found it. First touchdown, and he blew past a defender.
Yeah. Boy, stat line cooking.
Yeah, so he got 2 touchdowns in his first game, an NFL game, so that's great for a rookie. But this game, one of the takeaways from this game that I wanted to talk about is the lack of run game by the Baltimore Ravens once again. They acquired Derrick Henry last season, in the offseason. And everyone was anticipating a little bit more heavy run game in this game. But Derrick Henry didn't really get off like we anticipated. It seems like that wasn't in the game plan. 13 carries, 46 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. He started off well, scored early, so that kind of brought some hope. But throughout the game, it seemed like it was more Lamar Jackson dependent, him running the football, him throwing the ball a lot. And trying to make things happen. Hell, Lamar, he rushed for over 100 yards, touchdown, all these different things, but ultimately, they fell kind of short. So that was like my main takeaway. As far as the defense goes, with some of these people who left the defensive side of the football, the defensive coordinator went to Seattle as a head coach now. You have some missing pieces on the D-line and in the linebacking group. They still have a solid defense, but it's just a little bit too much for, the Chiefs' offense is just a little bit too much. They are so difficult to beat, so many different moving parts. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, that combination and that connection is just difficult to beat, man. They've been together for a long time, had a lot of continuity, so it's just hard to beat those guys.
And also, like you said, just piggybacking off of that, Travis Kelce didn't do much that game. But Rashee Rice still had a good game. From all reports, as of right now, they're waiting till the case actually gets settled to make a determination on like what his punishments or reprimands are going to be for the racing case or whatever. But He had a great game. Over 100 yards receiving in that game. Like I said, Xavier Worthy, very good. Only 2 catches, but one of them was a touchdown catch, and he's getting a good amount of yards every time he touches the ball. So I think that's going to be a good addition. But the thing that stood out, it was a little bit of concern about Snead leaving, on the defensive side, but they held it down pretty well at corner, and they didn't let too many people get off, with the exception of Isaiah Likely, who absolutely cooked that game and almost had the game winner by a toenail. But the Ravens will be fine. I think he shouldn't have said what he said in the conference about, if this the best they're gonna play, then
they're in trouble.
Then the postseason, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, you do know this is the Chiefs, right? And the beginning of the season is usually when they play the worst. So if they start the season with a win, look out. But I say all that to say they're in a good spot. I mean, both teams are still in a good spot. I like what I saw from most of the game. I'm not overly concerned about the Derrick Henry situation, just because of the simple fact that the Ravens have like such a running back committee. And then also with Lamar Jackson rushing, Lamar Jackson had over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think the rushing is going to be severely missed. They just need him to be a sufficient threat. They still going to put in Justice Hill on third down. So, I mean, you basically need him to be 2 downs. Solid for those. Lamar Jackson, Justice Hill, the wide receiver is going to be able to do something. Mark Andrews, I guess he's still recovering some, so I don't know. Maybe that was just a slow start for him, but Isaiah Likely had a phenomenal game. Zay Flowers, he had some receptions. He didn't have any huge. It
was a touchdown that Lamar missed in the end zone.
Yeah.
Zay was wide open, so that's another thing. But it was just the way that he was scrambling right, trying to throw it back across the middle of the field and in the end zone.
It's early. They got to get in rhythm. We talked about that during our first episode. We talked about how they need time to get in rhythm and take away, especially the offense in particular. So I wouldn't be overly concerned. I wouldn't hit the panic button if I'm the Ravens.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But it was a good game. It was very tightly contested. So that's what I expected out of them 2 teams, honestly. The Ravens had a mean shot at winning there. We picked them to win, but toenails.
Yeah, picked them to win. They were down bad early, and then Lamar willed the team back into something tight at the end of the game, literally at the last second of the game, last snap of the game, and just couldn't get it done. The Chiefs got their number, and the Chiefs got everybody's number in the NFL as well. So don't feel too bad, Ravens fans. It's just it happens to the best of them. Everybody.
Shit happens.
What
bro.
you got? What's your takeaway? First one.
First and foremost, I'm gonna talk about the game that I actually attended and went to. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I showed up at the stadium. The stadium was split, half and half.
Yeah.
It was a lot of terrible towels.
A lot of black and yellow in there.
It was a lot of cheering going on. TJ Watt was on the field doing like this, and I was like, whose stadium are they in? Because apparently it was a home game for them as well.
Yeah, they travel. They travel, and a lot of them Steelers fans, they live in Atlanta.
They do. I've seen so many black and yellow jerseys this past weekend. It was crazy. They won that game because of
18-10 was the score.
The Falcons. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say this about the defense. They held them to 6 field goals.
6 field goals, no touchdowns.
No tutties. All field goals. So the Falcons defense, to me, I'm not super pissed off at them. They did give up some chunk plays. I didn't like how they gave up some chunk plays to George Pickens. They were getting bullied a little bit by Najee Harris and Warren. They were getting some yards, a little bit more than I liked. TJ Watt was out there, TJ Watton. So I'm not super mad about that. But my problem with the Falcons, what I was dissecting, and I'm watching this game is, and another thing that was brought to my attention is, Kirk Cousins has not played shotgun his entire career, pretty much. He plays under center. So
action,
he He snaps the ball under center, does a drop back, and then he is going to make his read and throw the ball. He didn't look comfortable. His mobility was off.
What I mean,
and of course you got TJ, and of course you got TJ Watt out there chasing you, so that's not helping. He didn't look like he can move at all. Them throwing him in a shotgun looks like to me that he's still having issues with his ankle and Achilles. And if that's the case, sit him down because
sit him down.
Because if that's the case with his ankle,
Week 1, Falcons fans calling for Kirk Cousins to sit down.
I'm saying that because if that's how you're going to use him, it either has to go one or two ways. Put him under center and let him actually drop back and pass and actually do what he does. But using him in that shotgun is not going to work. He did not look comfortable. He's not mobile enough. And it just makes it look like his Achilles is still messed up and not fully recovered. So you're basically trying to eliminate the drop back and just put him in a shotgun. And he's not looking right in that. So my whole thing is either you play him how he is supposed to be played, or you sit him for a while, let his ankle recover, and then run Michael Penix
He's
for a
fine.
while. He didn't look fine.
He said he's fine. Raheem said he just needed to get the rust knocked off of him. He said he's fine. There's nothing wrong with
TJ
Kirk.
Watt knocked a lot of rust off of him. He got sacked.
Let's not point all the blame to Kirk Cousins. Let's talk about
I'm
that
not
offensive
blaming
line.
Kirk Cousins. I wasn't blaming
Let's
Kirk
talk
Cousins.
about how that offensive line just allowed TJ Watt to dominate the game.
That's TJ Watt, though. My whole thing is, to me, that's a scheme. That's a offensive coordinating issue to try and run and shotgun the whole game, and it's not working. It's not working. The quarterback looks uncomfortable, and he keeps getting sacked. So, yes, the offensive line, do they need to block better? Yes, but at the same time, it's TJ Watt. Who the fuck can block TJ Watt? I'm like, you got to put him in a favorable situation at least.
Ray McCloud, the leading receiver for the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Wow.
Ray was the leading receiver, seemed like to me, because the other options were covered. Drake London wasn't really getting open. Kyle Pitts had some movement and started to get some motion. I'm surprised Ray McCloud ended up with the most yards from receiving, because it seemed like it would have been Kyle Pitts, but he had timely possessions, but they weren't like really large possessions when he got them. So, I mean, to me, of course, you need more out of Drake London. You only got one reception from Darnell Mooney. I don't know how many targets he had in that game, but yeah, Ray McCloud should not be your top.
What did
receiver.
you like about the offense?
What did I like about the offense?
Did you see anything that you liked about the offense?
To me, Bijan had a solid balance between the run and the pass. I think you're going to have to integrate Tyler Algier a little bit more on the running attack so that you're not just Bijan. Tyler Algier only had 3 carries, but he had 21 yards. So, I mean, he's getting good yardage. I just think it was just a plan and the scheme that they had going on against that defense was not working well with the offense.
Pittsburgh defense, man. They're a tough defense to play.
It is a tough defense for sure.
to play. They got pass rushers and they got back end coverage.
They could have played it a little different though.
Yeah,
to me, they could have played it a little different
for Atlanta.
It was.
I'm glad I didn't bet it.
It definitely was.
I did pick them to win, but I'm glad I didn't bet it.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that was the thing.
But
credit to the Steelers though. Justin Fields gives the defense fits all the time.
Yeah.
All that scrambling, played pretty clean. He ran when he was supposed to run. He messed up the defense enough to get guys open and make chunk plays when he needed to. So credit to the Steelers offense too, because they played better than people kind of expected them to play.
The Arthur Smith revenge game, and he comes into Atlanta, his old team, former team. Justin Fields from the Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Got passed up by Atlanta.
Yeah.
Comes back into the stadium and gets a dub. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Ain't that some shit?
We felt it in the stadium.
But I'm going to tell you this. Atlanta is in possible trouble early.
Why you say that?
They down 0-1 right now. Next 2 games, Philadelphia on Monday.
They're now 0-3.
Kansas City, that's 0-3. And then you have 3 divisional games after that. You got your Saints, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who look very good. Saints look very good. And then
The Saints played the
then
Panthers.
your Carolina Panthers.
The Saints played the Panthers.
They play the Panthers, but they still look good. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
So it's not going to be, what I'm saying is, it's not going to be a cakewalk. The Falcons could easily go 0-4. It's possible. They could potentially go 1-5.
I'm not gonna put it past it to say.
So that's not a good start for Atlanta. So they need to get their shit together ASAP.
But I think a lot of it just comes down to you correcting issues with the scheme, correcting issues with how you're actually using or the types of plays you're running with Kirk Cousins if you're going to keep him out there. And if he's really not fully recovered or you don't trust the Achilles that much, give him some more time to heal.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
To me, if you put him in the shotgun and not under center and the man has played under center his whole career, that means you got an issue or you have some.
No, that's the play calling issue. That's an offensive coordinator issue. That's a scheme. That's not the player
why is
injury.
he doing that? Okay. What's your next takeaway?
Hey, my next takeaway. We're going to talk about the Gahhdamn Jets and the 49ers, man.
Goddamn Jets.
All right. So the Jets played the 49ers on Monday night, first Monday night football of the season. They lost to the 49ers 32-19, okay? They were in San Francisco. The 49ers did not have Christian McCaffrey on the football field. Jordan Mason was on the football field looking like Christian McCaffrey. Okay. Brock Purdy played phenomenal. One of my takeaways from this game is, I'm going to start with the 49ers, okay? Brock Purdy is legit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm stamping that. He's legit. When I watch Brock Purdy play, he makes all the throws, all the right throws. He's accurate with the football. The ball placement is great. He does the right things at the right time when it comes to 49ers. So he understands that offense. Sure. He understands that offense for sure. So Brock Purdy, legit. Go ahead and stamp that. Offensively,
news.
The 49ers, they did what they're going to do, right? I'm a little shocked that the Jets defense allowed the 49ers to run on them just like that.
Mason, like you said, it was Jordan Mason McCaffrey out there.
Yeah.
He was he just looked like a phenomenal running back all night. I don't know what else to say.
Every carry, running hard, running tough, running physical. Every carry was forward. Didn't really get any tackles for loss. Everything was picking up yards. He rushed for what? Over 100? What? 147? 5 yards a carry.
And 147 yards. Man was going crazy. But they kept handing him the ball, right? He had 28 carries. So, I mean, once they figured out they could run on him, he had 28 carries and Brock Purdy still had 231 passing yards. So, not surprising to me out of that was that Juwan Jennings actually ended up having the most receiving yards. Now I know why you say that.
Brock likes Jennings, bro.
I think Brock likes Jennings against a good defense though, because the thing that happens is those 1 and 2 options end up getting covered a lot, and Juwan Jennings is open.
Yeah.
So
especially
and the things I noticed for all you prop bettors, Juwan Jennings has been pretty good to me on props because of the simple fact his line is so low.
It'd be low every time.
He had like 17 yards on his line, and I end up hitting a prop parlay with that because his line was 17 and he got 64 yards. So against a good defense, always look at Juwan Jennings because he's going to be the third option, and you're going to run out of cornerbacks to cover him eventually. So to me, Brock, like you said, game managed. Gesicki 40 yards, Kittle 40 yards, Deebo Samuel 54 yards, Juwan Jennings 64 yards.
Spread the ball out, man.
He spread the ball out.
Everybody got some love.
And Ayuk only had 2 receptions.
Speaking of Ayuk, causing all that ruckus about a contract, dropping passes in the end zone where Brock Purdy is throwing.
He threw a dime. He threw a dime that he dropped. He was diving for it.
It hit his hands, all 10 fingers, bro, and palm.
It fell. But
that should have been a catch.
One.
If you want to be worth that kind of money and you talking about contract, make that catch. Those are catches that you make.
We're not disputing his money over.
But I just wanted to get that
week
out there.
one.
I'm not. Nobody flies under the radar on the pod. But that's the 49ers side of it. Now, their defense still, is the 49ers defense. Fred Warner always is on the screen, flashing on the. I said,
boy, get his camera time.
I'm gonna tell you this. This dude is a Hall of Famer. I think he's in year 7 or year 8, and he has like another 7 or 8 more years to play.
Yeah.
So he's a Hall of Famer playing on the football field right now.
Yeah.
So their secondary looks good per usual. That defense flying across the field. Nick Bosa didn't really do much, which speaks to, the Jets' offensive line on that side. So kudos to them holding up a little bit.
They try to
but
protect
speaking on the offense with the Jets offense, besides that one touchdown drive that they had, looked very vanilla, very plain.
Lazard was cooking though.
Very vanilla, very plain. The ball didn't go to too many different people. When Aaron Rodgers was in the game before they sat him, when he was in the game, the ball was going to Garrett Wilson. The ball was going to Breece Hall, as it should.
Lazard
dropped the first pass that Aaron threw to him. Aaron didn't come back to him.
He had 2 tutties and 89 yards though.
That was he threw one of the touchdowns. One of the touchdowns was off a busted play. Offside. That one.
He said, "Oh,
I'm just gonna throw it." So he wasn't gonna be the first read on that play, anyways. And then the other touchdown was thrown to him by the backup.
Okay.
So the point I'm trying to make is that offense needs to have a little bit more sizzle. It wasn't sizzling. That offense was very basic, very plain. It was bleh. Aaron Rodgers, he still can throw it, he still can spin it, but they need to, start clicking on that offensive side of the football a little bit more. I want to see Garrett Wilson get more involved. I want to see Conklin get involved a little bit more, the tight end. I want to see your boy, Mike Williams. I need to see him get involved in the offense.
I don't have high expectations. Love you, Mike. Longtime Chargers fan here. But I don't have high expectations out of Mike Williams because we don't know how long he's going to be on the field. So my whole thing is he's a big play guy. He's a deep play guy. Mm-hmm. He's your shot down the field. Mm-hmm. You need a spectacular catch from Madden. That's your guy. Mm-hmm. You throw it to the sideline, he might spin out of bounds and catch it with one hand. He'll give you those. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna be trying to get him 8-10 targets a game, it's gonna be a problem.
I wouldn't even say that. If you're trying to keep him for 8-10 games out the season.
Which is exactly why my expectation was low. I didn't see Mike Williams on the stat sheet like that, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But I think if they get him involved, if he stays healthy, you got him paired up with Garrett Wilson that can run the inside, can play the slot. Then you got Conklin, and then you have Lazard as well.
Lazard doing what he...
And then you got Breece coming out the backfield. They have the pieces there offensively. Yeah. I think they just need to kind of work together a little bit more, mesh, gel. And I think Aaron just needs to build confidence with these guys.
Again,
that's the main thing.
A QB coming off of a major injury is going to need some time to acclimate to the game. I mean, it's kind of similar with the Kirk Cousins thing. I think Rodgers had better mobility than fucking Kirk Cousins. Yeah. But
Aaron Rodgers,
he's a more mobile quarterback.
You got to earn your keep with Aaron Rodgers, though. Yeah. He's not going to just throw you the rock just because you're on the field. You got to show him that you can catch the ball in clutch situations.
So they need time.
Yeah, they need to go ahead and build some trust with each other.
They got to build some trust. They got to play together.
But that defense, they need to tighten up. And the damn Jets doing crazy work in the front office. You trade for Hassan Reddick from Philadelphia, and now the man is holding out, missing on $800,000 a game because you don't want to pay him. How do you trade for a player?
I heard them say,
and then not give him a contract.
I heard them say something about a $2 million fine because of this. I'm like, oh my God.
What kind of idiotic front office stuff is that? How do you trade for a player and then do not try to and don't pay him, knowing that he wanted to get a contract extension when you traded for him?
I don't know. I can't make sense of it. But it's the goddamn Jets.
It's the goddamn Jets, man. Get Hassan Reddick on the field, man. He's just sitting there ready to play, and you need him because he probably helps. He's gonna help with the pass rush, but the way that run defense was looking, it didn't look too sweet. No. It was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
What you got?
My only other takeaway would be my Los Angeles Chargers versus the Raiders. Harbaugh's Chargers. They came out. J.K. Dobbins, especially in the second half, picked up the run game. Got a lot of yak out there. Boy might have been drunk after the game with all that yak. They distributed the ball pretty well. He moved it around to Johnston. He moved it around Lad McConkey. Ended up getting a late touchdown.
Brock got some targets.
On the other side, Brock Bowers cooked up for the Raiders. He had a very good first game, I would say. I still think they went with the right choice of putting Minshew at quarterback for the Raiders. Even though you had, some gripes about Devontae Adams still not getting that many targets. But, I mean, Devontae is going to be blanketed a lot, But
can't nobody
Jacoby
guard Tay Adams, bro. Can't nobody guard Tay Adams.
He's, phenomenal route runner. We know that.
He's the best.
His route tree is the best.
He's the best.
But I said that to say the defense stepped up. They held them to field goals for the vast majority of the game. On both sides, they were really held to field goals for most of the game. Until late, the Chargers end up breaking out, and the defense of the Chargers end up making some plays and closing out that game pretty well, which is why we ended up with a 22-10 score.
Shout out to Joe Alt. First round draft
boy,
pick.
he was blocking, boy.
Did anybody see? We need to put out an APB for Max Crosby in that game.
Control Alt Delete.
Alt Delete. Max Crosby. We need to put out an APB for you because Joe Alt had you covered up. You couldn't make nothing happen.
Thank God for that draft pick.
Yeah.
Joe Alt came out there and had him covered. That's all you can ask for. Justin Herbert getting a good running back to replace Eckler. And then also having some protection so that when he does drop back, him not having the most phenomenal wide receiver core, but Lad McConkey, I expect him to do kind of what he did for the Bulldogs and be reliable more than anything. Along with the other guys on the field, Palmer got a little speed. Johnson trying to step it up. He's a tall receiver. I think they got something good to work with over there. Of course, the Chiefs still going to dominate the division, but I do like what I seen from them in my first game. To me, the Raiders didn't play terrible, but the Raiders got some explaining to do a little bit.
Yeah, they need some help in that quarterback room for sure.
I don't think Minshew was that bad though.
They need some help in the quarterback room.
I mean, they're gonna get it together though.
Yeah.
I trust Pierce over there, man, to do what he needs to do over there, man. But yeah, that was my only other thing about that. I didn't have that much on that game, but I did like what I see. Bolt up, man.
Bolt up.
Bolt up. Man.
Shout out to Harbaugh again, getting his first NFL win this season. Like he's been there before, but this season.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was a very interesting week one. A lot of news broke. Dak got paid right before the game. Tariq
dominated the Browns. That Cowboys defense looked great.
Free Tariq.
Tariq gets hemmed up on the side of the streets in the stadium. Goes crazy in the game.
Yeah. And then the Selly was crazier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a lot of good news. It was a lot of crazy things going on. Kendrick Lamar announced halftime show. They're not like us. But, yeah, man.
Great week one. Great week one.
Great way to start. And you already know we're going to be back for week 2. But
stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And stay tuned for week 2 rundown.
That's what's coming up next, baby. Peace out.
Peace.
Yeah.